Father, upon you at Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. The blessing of the Sabbath. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Asherah, Lithalanawa, Hashabath, Bashalawam, Tawada, Amen. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the Sabbath and peace. Thank you, so be it. Taha'ayim A'ad Asherayim Akkad, Psalm 121. Anya Harayim Ayanyam Ya Oh Harayim Mayan Yabawa Isaiah Yabawa Mayahawa Shaisha Shamayim Wa'arataza La'a Yanathan Lamawat Regalia Yala'a Yanawum Shashamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawum, Wala'a, Yayashun, Shashwama, Yasharella, Yahweh, Shemaya, Yahweh, Tazalia, Yad, Yam Yawamum, Hashamash, La'a, Hakaya, where you're at. La'a Balayala Yahweh Yashmaya Makom Ra Yashma Napasha Yahweh Yashma Hawalakia Wabawaya Ma'aitha Wa'ai Walam Basham Yahweh Shah Tawada Aman.
Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Shema Yasharella, hear, O Israel. Shema Yasharella, Yahweh, Allahaynawa, Yahweh, Akkad. Shema Yasharella, Yahweh, Allahaynawa, Yahweh, Akkad. Shema Yasharella, Yahweh, Allahaynawa, Yahweh, Akkad.
Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Amen.
Amen. Tapala Yahweh, the Lord's Prayer. Abba Yanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Saba'a, Ratazawanka, Haya, Aisha, Parataza, Ka, Bashamayim, Natalanawa, Lakam, Yowum, Za, Wasalakwanawa, Kababathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kababathyanawa, Wala'a, Habiyanawa, O, Nasayawan, Abo, Hawashinawa, Mara, Kriya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wathapara, La'ayawalam, Amen.
Amen. Matthew 6:9. After this manner, therefore, pray, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. Ha'ashira Matazawaf, the Ten Commandments. La'a,
La'a,
Yahaya,
Yahaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Akarium,
Akari,
Alpanya,
Alpanya,
La'a,
La'a,
Daisha,
Daisha,
Laka,
Laka,
Paso,
Pasal,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Daibadam,
Waibidam,
La'a,
La'a,
Talakwaka,
Talakwaka,
Shamwa,
Shamwa,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Alahayka,
Alahayka,
Lashwa,
Lashua,
Zakar,
Zakar,
Ath,
Ak,
Hayawum,
Ayawam,
Hashabath,
Ashabat,
Lakodashwa,
Lakodashwa,
Kabad,
Kabad,
Abiaka,
Amka,
Wa Amaka,
Amaka,
La'a,
La'a,
Taratazak,
Taratizak,
La'a,
La'a,
Tana'a,
Lana'a,
La'a,
La'a,
Dagana,
Lagana,
La'a,
La'a,
Daina,
Daina,
Shakur,
Shakur,
La'a,
La'a,
Dakama,
Laka,
Ko,
Ka,
Ashara,
Asherah,
Lara'aika,
Laraika,
Aman.
Aman. Exodus 22. I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in earth, that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third or fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and holiday unto thy father and thy mother, that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen.
Aman. Shabbat be said. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Nathalanawa, Par Yahagapan, Thawad Aman, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Ath, Yasha'Allah. I might go upon you on Rostam, stand and face Jerusalem. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Haggadah,
Haggadah,
Rakawam,
Rakawam,
Abiyah,
Abiyah,
Wanara'ah,
Wanara'ah,
Alayawan,
Aliwan,
Malak,
Malak,
Sho,
Sho,
Shemayim,
Shamayim,
Wa'aratazah, Wakol,
Wakal,
Dabayim,
Nabar,
Kayayam,
Kayayam,
Wagam,
Wakam,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Mayahawa,
Mayahawa,
Adawan Noah, Ahab Noah, Hapalab,
Apallah,
Yahweh Itazah, Yahweh Shai,
Yahushua,
Zakar Noah, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Baratazawan,
Baratazawon,
Aimka,
Anka,
Yasha'Allah,
Yasha'Allah,
Izar Noah, Banah, Wasap,
Wasap,
Yasha'Allah,
Yasha'Allah,
O, Nanawa,
Nawa,
Yum Yun,
Yun,
Aitha,
Aita,
Kayuwamyam,
Kayawam,
Makwadam,
Makudam,
Baba Kusha,
Shah,
Shalat,
Shalah,
Mayaka Allah,
Ma'aka'Allah,
Wahatazwadat,
Watazwadat,
Alahayim,
Alahayam,
La,
La,
Maganawa,
Maganawa,
Rapanawa, Washamar,
Washmor,
Alnawa,
Alna,
By Kwar,
Baikor,
Shalat,
Shalak,
Harokan, Shal,
Shal,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Lalamanawa, Rabiam, Kakama, Zabawana, Wada Aith, Shal, the Barka, Basham, Yahushai, Thamad, Wa'iwalam, Aman. Blessed are Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. And also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor, Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably, your people, Israel. Help us build and gather Israel. Most high, we beg you, right now, like the days of old. Please send Michael and the righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahweh Shai to us to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always and forever, so be it. Blessed are Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Atalanawa, Hatawara. Blessed are Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light to see. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Atalanawa, War, Lara Awa. Blessed are Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Atalanawa, Koran, Hayal, Makorah, Ha'aim. Blessed are Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Atalanawa, Hashaman, Zayath, Lamashak, Yasha'Allah. Shabbat, be seated. All right, shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to the brothers and sisters throughout the nation of Israel. Happy Sabbath as well as happy new moon. For those who were in the class this evening, this is, like we called it, a unofficial new moon because we assumed it would have been the beginning of our year, but it's not yet. Still waiting upon the spring season to come in, but it's still a new moon nonetheless, a day which we would come before the Most High, as it says in Ezekiel, to come and worship before him at the right gates for the Sabbath, new moons, and the feast days. So again, happy Sabbath and also happy new moon. So with that in mind, of course, since it's a new moon, most likely folks are feasting, cooking, and doing certain things that we normally wouldn't do on a regular seventh-day Sabbath. But today it is permittable. So depending on where you are, probably you can go and cook something nice, get on the grill, do whatever you want to do today in the honor of the feast. So this is Hayashar al-Kanas. We're going to go through the Sabbath service, going to the Old Testament today, the book of Joshua, the 21st and the 22nd chapters, to read wisdom, history, and things that went on with our past ancestors at that time. So this is the 13th of March, 2021. So we will proceed. My name is Kahan Samak. For those who are on the live stream, you can see my name is there. And we will begin thus far. 1 second here. Okay. So we'll begin in Joshua chapter 21 and verse 1. So previous chapters, we were going into the cities of refuge, where if someone committed or caused someone to die inadvertently, the Most High set up 6 cities of refuge where they would then go and flee until time of judgment came, where they would then be able to stand or stay there until the life of that high priest, and then they can go back, right? And then they would be able to escape, murder by the person's family to come and pay retribution for what just happened. So that was the previous 19 and 20th chapters. Now we're going to move forward into the 21st and the 22nd chapter. So pretty much all of the tribes have now gotten their inheritance. They received their inheritance. The Most High has divided it up. He said every tribe can get, this region with this amount of cities, with this amount of suburbs, so forth and so on. But remember, there was one tribe who was left out because they were separated unto the Most High. They were supposed to do the service of the Most High. So they were never given a specific inheritance or land of their own. That's the tribe of Levi. So now as we're reading in the 21st chapter, it's going to go into what the tribe of Levi's dwelling places would be, right? Remember, the tribe of Levi now had to do the service and become the priests for the rest of the tribe. So they had to now go and minister to the tribe. So that's what we're about to get into. So this is Joshua chapter 21. Joshua chapter 21 and verse 1. It says, Then came near the heads of the fathers of the Levites unto Eleazar the priest, and unto Joshua the son of Nun, and unto the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And they spake unto them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan, saying, Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses to give us cities to dwell in, with the suburbs thereof for our cattle. So they recall that, going all the way back to the book of Numbers, chapter 35, and Numbers verse 1. Numbers 35 and 1, it says, And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possessions cities to dwell in. And ye shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities round about them. And the cities shall they have to dwell in, and the suburbs of them shall be for their cattle, and for their goods, and for all their beasts. And the suburbs of the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites shall reach from the wall of the city and outward 1,000 cubits round about, right? So this is what was now, this is Numbers 35, 1 to 4. So this is what was given to the tribe of Levi, right? They was given cities to dwell in the cities, and then outside of the cities, from the wall to about 1,000 cubits out, they were given suburbs for their food and victuals and for their cattle, right? So that's what the Lord now provided for them. So they remember this. As the Most High gave this commandment out, so they're now reminding Moses and the rest of the tribes the ordinance of the Most High, because now everyone has gotten their inheritance in their land. So now it's time for them to receive dwelling places within the cities and suburbs. So let's go back to Joshua 21, 1 to 4. So now, going back to Joshua 21, and I'm going to read verse 2 again. It says, And they spake unto them at Shiloh, in the land of Canaan, saying, The Lord commanded by the hand of Moses to give us cities to dwell in, with the suburbs thereof for our cattle. And the children of Israel gave unto the Levites out of their inheritance at the commandment of the Lord these cities and their suburbs. So based on based on, just leave it, just based on what the Most High had determined. Now the tribes are now about to give them their land, right? So this is what it was. It says, and the lot came out for the families of the Kohathites and the children of Aaron the priest, which were of the Levites, had by lot out of the tribe of Judah and out of the tribe of Simeon and out of the tribe of Benjamin, 13 cities. So the Kohathites, these were men, these were family out of the Levites who had the order of performing a certain service within the tabernacle, right? As far as for the coverings, when the tabernacle was on the move, the Kohathites were the ones who now bear the burden of taking those things for the tabernacle and then making it to the next location. So these families now were given cities within these three tribes. It mentions what? Judah, Simeon, and Levi. 13 cities were the Kohathites given to dwell in. Verse 5, and the rest of the children of Kohath had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Ephraim, and out of the tribe of Dan, and out of the half tribe of Manasseh, 10 cities. So the remaining was now spread through Dan, Ephraim, and Manasseh, right? They were now given 10 cities for them to dwell in. Verse 6, and the children of Gershon had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Issachar, and out of the tribe of Asher, and out of the tribe of Naphtali, and out of the half tribe of Manasseh in Bashan, 13 cities. So now we go on to Gershon, right? Now Gershon was another family that had to perform a certain ordinance of the tabernacle out of the line of Aaron, out of the Levites. So they now are given their inheritance between of these tribes, right? So you can read about Kohath, Gershon, and Merari. These three men and their families, their sons, would then now be the ones who would go and perform the service of the tabernacle as far as for the certain coverings, vessels, and things that had to be moved. They were the ones who bear that burden. You can read that in Numbers, the 4th chapter. But now verse 6 goes into them receiving their cities now. 13 cities. And then it says Manasseh of Bashan, that's on the east portion of Jordan. Verse 7, the children of Merari by their families had out of the tribe of Reuben, out of the tribe of Gad, and out of the tribe of Zebulun, 12 cities. So now here we go. Merari, of those three main ones out of Levi that perform the duties, now they're going to the other tribes, Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. If you pay attention, they're kind of really spreading them out amongst the tribes and giving them specific portions of cities. So now they're given 12 cities out of these tribes. Verse 8, and the children of Israel gave by lot unto the Levites these cities with their suburbs, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. So now here it is. The Levites now, out of these sons, these families are now dwelling, or going to now dwell and spread out amongst these different tribes, right? And have their cities and their suburbs. And the suburbs was going to be from the wall of the cities. How many cubits out? Who remembers? How many cubits out was the wall that I read in Numbers 35? 1,000 cubits out, tells you in verse 4, Numbers 35 and 4. 1,000 cubits out from the wall is what you now classify the suburb to be, right? So the cities had a wall, and then going that far out, which would be called classified as a suburb. What do you say?
The suburbs?
Yeah.
From the city?
Yeah. Outside of the city. That's like Esau, they live in the suburbs. Jake live in the cities. And it flip-flops. And then they push Jake out of the cities, push them into the suburbs. And they kind of play that game with real estate and property values and making money and devaluating areas and then make money for it off of it again. Right. Verse 4. So now we have verse 9 now, Joshua 21 and 9. It says, and they gave out of the tribe of the children of Judah and out of the tribe of the children of Simeon these cities which are here mentioned by name, which the children of Aaron, being of the families of the Kohathites, who were of the children of Levi had, for theirs was the first lot, right? So now of the first lot that we mentioned a few back starting to verse 4 is now getting into what they were given from out of the inheritance, right? Verse 11, and they gave them the city of Arba, the father of Anak, which city is Hebron, and the hill country of Judah with the suburbs thereof round about. So when it read that in verse 4, where it says, had by lot out of the tribe of Judah, this is one of those main cities that we still know of today, Hebron, right? So those Kohathites were the Levites that dwelt at Hebron, right? Which before was the city of Arba, right? Which was the father of the Anak, or the Anakims, which were the giants that we went and took down at that time. It says in verse 12, but the fields of the city and the villages thereof gave they to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, for his possession. So the fields, remember, prior to the Levites getting theirs, Caleb was already given a separate portion for his valiantness, right? Because he was a man that stuck with the Most High along with Joshua coming out of Egypt. So he petitioned and got a specific area within the tribe of Judah. And that's what they're separating from what the Levites had and what was going to be left as a possession for Caleb.
The thing is that you have the city, right, and then you have the suburbs, right,
mm-hmm.
and then the fields where the farms are, right.
Yeah, you would have fields surrounding your suburbs, so forth and so on.
Because I know in certain cities it's like, okay, this is city, and in certain like open fields.
Mm-hmm. So now reading on, it says in verse 13, and thus they gave to the children of Aaron the priest Hebron with their suburbs to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Libnah with her suburbs. Right. So now recall when we just read this in 2019 about the cities of refuge, this was one of those areas that was there around within Hebron that had a city of refuge. Verse 14, and Jeter with her suburbs, and Eshtemoa with her suburbs, and Holon with her suburbs, and Debir with her suburbs, and Ain with her suburbs, and Judah with, not Judah, but Juttah with her suburbs, and Beth Shemesh with her suburbs. 9 cities out of those 2 tribes, right? So these was given to the Kohathites. Right, 9 cities were separated to made provision for the Levites to dwell in. Right, just we were talking about the Kohathites. Right, and remember, now it was between Benjamin, Judah, and Simeon. Right, so here we just read 9 between Judah. It just had to be Judah and Simeon, because as we read, it's going to say 9 cities out of those 2 tribes, and out of the tribe of Benjamin, Gibeon with her suburbs, Geba with her suburbs, and Anathoth with her suburbs, and Almon with her suburbs. 4 cities. So now here are the other 4 cities to make a total of 13. So divided up between Simeon and Judah, it was 9, and then Benjamin gave 4. It says, verse 19, all the cities of the children of Aaron the priest were 13 cities with her suburbs. So it's just going more in depth to giving you the names of the cities from verse 4, right? That's what it's just going into. It's now giving you the specific names of the areas that they dwelt. Why is this important? Why is this good? Because later on, when you read some of these names, Jatir and everything else where people dwell in, you can now trace that back and say, oh, this was a land within Simeon that was given to Levi as a part of their provision for them to dwell in from our original inheritance that the Lord gave. Right? So you know geography, and then you know who's dwelling there and what tribes, who owned it.
But Levi dwelt in all the tribes.
That's what we just read. We've been reading, if you've been following, each city, it breaks it up. These 3 tribes, this This family dwells with these 3 tribes. These family deals with these 3 tribes. These family deals with these 3 tribes, so forth and so on. And now we're just getting into the names of the cities. The first half was just giving you the high level. Now it's going into the actual names of the cities. Say again? What? You're not following?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. I mean, this is like pretty simple. it's just telling you these tribes with these cities. You know, this is not like a parable or deep thing here. It's just giving you names, right? Verse 20, it says, "And the families of the children of Kohath, the Levites, which were remain of the children of Kohath, even they had the cities of their lot out of the tribe of Ephraim." All right, so you following that? What's that saying? Right? So it says the families of Kohath, those that remain. So there was some that was not a part of Judah, Benjamin, and Simeon. The rest of them went and dwelt with Ephraim. Verse 21, "For they gave them Shechem with her suburbs in Mount Ephraim to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Gezer with her suburbs, and Kibzaim with her suburbs, Beth Horon with her suburbs." 4 cities, right? So now when we get into Ephraim, Ephraim now provided for them these areas. This is what we read in verse 5. So again, all it's doing is just giving you the high level and the more finite or deep down as far as for what it is. Because remember in 5, it says, "And the rest of the children of Kohath had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Ephraim, and out of the tribe of Dan, and out of the half tribe of Manasseh, 10 cities." So what we're reading now from verse 20 on is going to these 10 cities that they gave them by name.
That you give them like good cities too, right?
Say again?
I think they did that to give them like good cities.
It doesn't tell you if these cities was better than this city, because the tribes was given certain amount of cities, but now it was like, you know, this was the city they gave, this was the city, you know, and say, hey, if they walked around and say, nah, I don't like this city, I want that one. This is what they got, right? And remember, this is the promised land. This is our the fulfillment of the Most High saying, okay, now you've now conquered the Hamitic people that was there, and now you take your land. So at that time, you know, whether it was the creme de la creme or whatever, we made it to be what it was, right? Remember, we're the apple of the Most High's eye, so he would allow the land, the cities to be flourish and plenteous, right? Remember, a place that flowed with milk and honey, meaning what? Milk and honey. In order to have milk and honey, you got to have an overflowing of vegetation, right? Crops to feed the cattle, to allow them to bring forth milk and more fruit from their womb and provide a lot of sustenance for everyone. So that's what the Lord is getting into when it's going to the milk and honey. And even for like the insects, the bees, you would have a whole bunch of trees, not just physical honey that would come from bees and honeycomb, but just honey in general, the sweetness, the fat of the land you would get. That's what the Lord was getting into. So now, going back to verse 23. "And out of the tribe of Dan, El-Tekah with her suburbs, Gibbethon with her suburbs, Aijalon with her suburbs, Gathramon with her suburbs, 4 cities." We turn off that heat. Yeah, just turn it off. That's what's making that noise. Come. So I'm gonna read 24 again. It says, "Aijalon with her suburbs, Gathramon with her suburbs, 4 cities," right? So now this is coming out of Dan that was now portioned out for the Levites. Verse 25, "And out of the half tribe of Manasseh, Anak with her suburbs, and Gath Rimmon with her suburbs, 2 cities," right? So now the half tribe of Manasseh on the eastern part of Jordan, they gave 2 cities. Verse 26, "All the cities were 10 with their children, so like with their suburbs, for the families of the children of Kohath that remain." So Kohath had a lot between 6 tribes, right? It was spread throughout 6 tribes. First Benjamin, Judah, and Simeon, and then those who didn't fill them, they now carried over to Ephraim, Dan, and half tribe of Manasseh. What you say?
I don't see those cities, but I have to look at probably overnight.
Kun.
Manasseh is big.
So now we moving on. So we dealt with Kohath. Now we're going to keep going. We have verse 27 now. It says, and unto the children of Gershon, of the families of the Levites, out of the other half tribe of Manasseh, gave them Golan in Bashan with her suburbs to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Beth Terah with her suburbs for 2 cities. Let me see if I can find, if I still have this this map. Give me 1 second. I have to hook it up as well. All right, so yeah, I got this one. So where's my bag? Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah. Give me the cable. No. The over here. No. Over here.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is the TV turned on? Supposed to be green. All right, so let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, so earlier we read about Kohath in Hebron, right, for Judah. And then we also read about Shechem and Manasseh, right? Now we just read about in verse 27, Golan in Bashan. See, it says Golan on the top right, and then when that star is, it's sitting right over Bashan. So now this is getting into, if you go back to what we was reading, it's the city of refuge. Verse 21 says Shechem, right here, which would be closer in the area where Manasseh and Ephraim is. So again, like we always say, these are not accurate to the T as far as for the actual bordering and the amount, the lines where it should be drawn. However, it gives you somewhat of a reference point so that you can see what we're talking about as these tribes is getting spread out. When we're reading these cities, all of the cities usually are not going to be found on all the maps. You probably got to get a good Bible atlas, right? A good Bible atlas that'll have a lot of varieties of different maps that goes into specifics as it pertains to land masses and inheritances within Israel, then as well as even other nations and kingdoms and empires, right? So this is just one that I'm using as a reference for right now. So now as we read in 27, it says, unto the children of Gershon out of the families of the Levites, out of the half tribe of Manasseh. So this is now on the eastern side of the Jordan River, where it says, and they gave Golan and Bashan with her suburbs to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Beshtera with her suburbs and 2 cities. So now if we was to go in, you may not see that Beshtera. However, we know that it is in this area somewhere, right? Which was going to be in the half tribe of Manasseh. Then it says, verse 28, and out of the tribe of Issachar, Kishon with her suburbs, Deborah with her suburbs, right? So down here it is. Here's Issachar. Where we get Issachar? Where's Yashashkar? Right here, smack in the middle. Missed it. Right. So the names of Kishon with her suburbs and Deborah with her suburbs will be within right this area. So here you see these Gershonites dwelling somewhat in the same vicinity, right? Then it says in verse 29, and Jarmuth with her suburbs, Igananim with her suburbs, 4 cities. And out of the tribe of Asher, Mishol with her suburbs, Abdon with her suburbs. So now we move over to Asher. Asher now would also host the Goshenites here in their area and giving them those cities. Helka with her suburbs and Rehob with her suburbs, 4 cities. So they gave up 4 cities for them. And it's not like, you're upset that you got to give up 4 cities, because these were the priests. These were the ones who were doing the service of the Most High for the tribes. So you wouldn't complain. You would be happy because now you had that direct connection within your area to be able to offer up offerings and do certain things outside of coming to Jerusalem, right? And they would have been able to, have their own portion at that time as well. So now, read it on. Verse 32. And out of the tribe of Naphtali, Kadesh in Galilee, with her suburbs, to be a city of refuge for the slayer, right? So now it says in Galilee, Kadesh. So that's right here for Naphtali. You see that right at the top, right? It says Kadesh in Galilee with her suburbs to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Hamath Dor, right? Not listed here, but it's in that area with her suburbs, and Carton with her suburbs, 3 cities. All the cities of the Gershonites, according to their families, were 13 cities with their suburbs. So the Gershonites got 13 cities, right? The Kohathites got 13 cities, and the Merarianites got 12 cities. That's what we're going to read about right now in verse 34. It says, and unto the families of the children of Merari, the rest of the Levites out of the tribe of Zebulun, Jokneam with her suburbs, and Karta with her suburbs. So here's Zebulun right here in the middle. Compared to the other tribes, you would think not that big of a portion. Dimnah with her suburbs, Nahalal with her suburbs, 4 cities. And out of the tribe of Reuben, Bezer with her suburbs, Jahazah with her suburbs, Kedemoth with her suburbs, and Mephaath with her suburbs, for cities, right? So now Reuben, move this, make it a little bit better. So now Reuben down here, here's Bezer, which was for a city of refuge, right here. Right, so I'm gonna read this again, verse 36. And out of the tribe of Reuben, Bezer with her suburbs, and Jaazah with her suburbs, Keedemoth with her suburbs, and Mephathath with her suburbs, 4 cities. Verse 38. Out of the tribe of Gad, so right here in the middle, it says Gad, Ramoth in Gilead with her suburbs, to be a city of refuge for the slayer, right? And Ma'anan with her suburbs. So here it is. It has Ramoth, right? Ramoth in Gilead. So now if you notice, based on what it says here, it says out of the tribe of Gad, Ramoth and Gilead with her suburbs. But when you look at this map, it gives you the impression that Ramoth is in Manasseh, right? Because you got 2 stars within Manasseh. So you know that this map is not off. I mean, it's not on point. It has a flaw in it based on how things are being depicted there, right? So that's why I said we got to be careful. Watch, if I bring up another one, let me see if I can bring up this other one that we had from before. All right, let's see if I can share this one. So this one is a bit different, right? It's not all the way. Let me see if I can blow this up. Yeah. So it's kind of on the outer areas, not directly in there. So as we're reading here in verse 40, it says, so all the cities for the children of Merari, no, 38, I'm sorry. And out of the tribe of Gad, Ramoth and Gilead with her suburbs to be a city for the refuge of the slayer, and Ma'anim with her city. So here is Ma'anim here. It has it highlighted right there. That's one of the cities. But then it says Ramoth and Gilead, right? So it's right here. So that would give the impression. So when you look, their land is, can't see it, it's kind of stretching all the way up here at the southern western portion of Manasseh, right? So the coloring is not that dark so that you can see it, but it stretches up here. And then there was Ramoth Gilead right here in the top right-hand corner, right? So that's where this one is a little bit more accurate in giving a depiction that separates Manasseh's land from Gad.
So it's kind of spread out, so they can run to something not too far away, like all the way up there, you know?
Right. All right, going back, verse 39. And Heshbon with her suburbs, Jazer with her suburbs, 4 cities. So all the cities for the children of Merari by their families, which were remaining of the families of the Levites, were by their light 12 cities. So Merari got 12, Gershon got 13, Kohath got 13 as cities that now have been spread out and provided to them out of all the tribes. All right. So now let's go back. So now we have verse 41. All the cities of the Levites within the possession of the children of Israel were 48 cities with their suburbs. These cities were every one with their suburbs round about them. Thus were all the cities, right? So all of them total was 48 cities provided to the Levites, right? And between the cities and the suburbs, it spread out to surround all of the tribes. Verse 43. And the Lord gave unto Israel all the land which he sware to give unto their fathers, and they possessed it and dwelt therein. And the Lord gave them rest round about, according to all that he sware unto their fathers. And there stood not a man of all their enemies before them. The Lord delivered all their enemies into their hand. So when the Lord provided this lot to the 12 tribes and then gave the Levites their portion within the 12 tribes, no one troubled them at this time, right? All their enemies were subdued, right? So the Lord gave the word, and thus it was. Verse 45, there failed not aught of any good thing which the Lord had spoken unto the house of Israel. All came to pass, right? So anything that the Most High had promised Abraham, had promised Jacob, all came to pass as to what the Lord's will was pertaining to them receiving the promised land. So go to Isaiah 55. Isaiah chapter 55. And verse 10. So Isaiah 55 and 10 says, for as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I send it. So when the Lord gave the word as far as for us coming into the land, subduing our enemies, thus it then happened, right? So let's go back. So that was a quick synopsis to go into Levi and their inheritance that they received from the Most High, right? Which is the cities and the suburbs of the 12 tribes that were there at that time, all right? So now we're going to jump into chapter 22. So this is now Joshua chapter 22. It says, then Joshua called the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, and said unto them, ye have kept all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have obeyed my voice in all that I have commanded you. Ye have not left your brethren these many days unto this day, but have kept the charge of the commandment of the Lord your power. So what is Joshua referencing here when he's talking to Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh? What word did they keep? Huh? Something different. Something different. Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. What did they say that they was going to do? Remember, the key here says, back in Joshua 22:3, ye have not left your brethren these many days unto this day, but have kept the charge of the commandment of the Lord your God. Why are you talking about you didn't leave them? Because what did they want to do when they came into the promised land? What did they want? Who remembers? Now, let's go back. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Why is this not letting me pull us back up? No, I don't want that one. right, look. Now let's look at the map. So now it says Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Where are they located at on this map?
What's that? Reuben?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Where do you see them? Are they not, those three tribes that's being described, are they not on the east side of Jordan? Were they not the first three to get their inheritance? And when they got this land, what did they say? How did they get this land? You don't remember back in Numbers, the 32nd chapter? Let's go to Numbers chapter 32.
I think they wanted more land or something like that. Right?
Let's go to Numbers chapter 32. Numbers chapter 32 and verse 1. Well, it's good to remember the history.
There was a discussion of it.
So Numbers 32 and 1, it says, now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle, right? So now they looked at the land as they coming over into the promised land. They're like, yo, this land has got a lot of room for our cattle, right? Verse 2, the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Ataroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eleal and Shebam and Nebo and Beon. Even the country which the Lord smote before the children of Israel is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore, said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. So they said, what? Let us have this land here, and don't bring us over to the other side of Jordan. We want to dwell right here. We ain't got to go over there and go seek out any other land, right? Now, what happened after that? Who remembers? Let's read on. Verse 6. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? Wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them. So he said, listen, if you stay here and you don't want to go help fight against the Hamitic people that's there, you're going to discourage the rest of them from wanting to leave. They just going to want to stay around. They ain't going to want to go and take their inheritance. So what did the Most High, what did they work out? Let's jump to verse 20. And Moses said unto them, if ye will do this thing, if ye will go armed before the Lord to war, and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord until he have driven out his enemies from before him, and the land be subdued before the Lord, then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. So that's the agreement, right? That they now were going to keep that land, that big land over there. Y'all can keep that, but y'all got to come over with the rest of your brethren and go fight them other Hamitic nations. Once that's done, you can now come back and be of no charge, no fault, and then take that land. That was the agreement. So now they upheld their agreement. They went over with the rest of their tribes, fought those other Hamitic Gentiles in that time, and then gave them, allowed for Israel to now everyone get their inheritance. So now this is what we're talking about. We're at that point where they fulfilled the end of the bargain, right? They fulfilled the end of the bargain. So now what would they want to do? Go back to their land. They want to now go from the west side of Jordan over to the east side of Jordan to now take their inheritance. So now go back to Joshua 22. So now Joshua 22 says, again, I'm starting from the beginning. Then Joshua called the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh. That's what we see on the east side of Jordan, those portions. We're not talking about the Manassites that were going to dwell in the east with Ephraim. We're not talking about those Manassites. We're talking about the ones who now were given provision on the east side of Jordan. Verse 2, and said unto them, ye have kept all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have obeyed my voice in all that I've commanded you. Ye have not left your brethren these many days unto this day, but have kept the charge of the commandment of the Lord your God. And now the Lord your God hath given rest unto your brethren, as he had promised them. Therefore now return ye and get you and your tents and unto the land of your possession, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you on the other side of Jordan. So y'all can take your possessions, take up your tents, and get back to your area, right? The Lord has given you that land. Verse 5, but take diligent heed to do the commandment and the law, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, charged you, to love the Lord your power and to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commandments, and to cleave unto him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. So as they're about to depart, they know they're going to now be away from the rest of their brethren on the west side of Jordan. Don't forget the Most High's commandments. Don't forget the law. Don't forget the Most High himself. They just reminded them to be diligent and fervent and still keeping the traditions of our ancient ancestors wherever we go, but in this case, to those different regions on the east side of Jordan.
So they had to get more land?
Say again?
They had to get more land?
What do you mean they had to get more land?
Manasseh.
What do you mean?
Since they had like more cattle and stuff.
You remember just what we just read? So when we first as a tribe came over to the promised land, they saw the tribe and says, we got much cattle.
Yeah.
We want this land. Reuben stepped up also and said, I like this area. I want this over here. Gad said, listen, I want to stay here, right? So then they said, okay, y'all can have this, but y'all got to go and fight. Initially, they didn't want to go fight. They just wanted to squat there. They like, we good right here. But nah, because the Most High said, everybody got to go together collective to fight. So now Manasseh as a tribe, when you see the area that they had a whole bunch of cattle. So-called Cubans is what we call them today. They had a lot of cattle, a lot of herd, and they saw that that area was good on that side of Jordan. They wanted it. They took claim to it. They got first dibs, right? So then it was like, all right, y'all can keep it, but y'all got to go fight.
Who they fight?
The Hamites.
Okay.
Right, remember the land of Canaan, and all the Jebusites, Pergasites, all we fought through all of them. The Anakims, the Giants, we fought a whole bunch of people, right? But they went with us, and now their job is done. They can go back to their inheritance on the east side of Jordan. So now, again, it just gives them good credence to remind them to keep the land. That's like Yakazak Allah says, listen, I'm about to go move out to Wisconsin. I like the area out there better than out here in Philly. But like, all right, brother, cool. Godspeed. But make sure you don't forget these commandments. Make sure you don't forget the Most High. Make sure you don't forget the Sabbath day. Why? Because now you're going to be way out where you ain't going to be with us. I don't know if there's a camp over there that you can go and fellowship with. So now you got to stay on point. You got to stay fervent, because you're around other people who may not be in this. And guess what? They may rub off on you. So stay on point. That's the exhortation that is now being given to them as what we would give to anybody, right? Verse 6. So Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and then went unto their tents. Now, to the one half of the tribe of Manasseh, Moses had given possession in Bashan. That's what we see up here on the map, right? We see Bashan with the star on it in the top right. It says, but unto the other half thereof gave Joshua among their brethren on this side Jordan westward. That's where the split. That's where you see them where Shechem is on the other side. Joshua gave that portion of the tribe. Verse 8. And he spake unto them, saying, return with much riches unto your tents, and with very much cattle, and with silver, and with gold, and with brass, and with iron, and with very much raiment. Divide the spoil of your enemies with your brethren. So now on their way, as they're leaving, they are now looking at and saying to themselves, hey, we're not going to send you, with a little bit. We went and conquered these Hamitic nations and took their spoils. We got a lot of gold from them. We got a lot of silver from them, iron and brass, because you can do things with the iron and brass, right? Build up nice structures and fortify your areas when you get there. And we took garments, right? We took the precious materials and things from these Hamitic nations. Take all of that with you as you go and be a great people on your journey. So he blessed them with that. Verse 9, and the children of Reuben, the children of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh returned and departed from the children of Israel out of Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan, to go unto the country of Gilead, to the land of their possession, whereof they were possessed according to the word, whereof they were possessed according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. So now they're off on their journey, right? Now, verse 10, and when they came unto the borders of Jordan that are in the land of Canaan, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh built there an altar by Jordan, a great altar to see. So now as they're leaving from Shiloh and as they get to the Jordan River, they come to a decision, or they come to a council and say, we're going to make a great big altar right here, right? Verse 12. So like verse 11. Matter of fact, the ending of it says a great altar to see, too, meaning that it was going to be so big as you passing by, it was going to be like one of those things that you got to go and look and say, what is that? What kind of huge altar is this? What's the purpose of it? Right? That's what they wanted it for. Verse 11, and the children of Israel heard say, behold, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh have built an altar over against the land of Canaan in the borders of Jordan at the passage of the children of Israel. So now when they went and built it, time goes by. Now the rest of the children is seeing this thing because it's something to see. And they're like, yo, these cats don't went and built an altar over there by the Jordan River, right? So now, when word comes around, what happens? People start embellishing, adding certain things on. They didn't get the full gist, but they just saw it and jumped to a conclusion. Verse 12. And when the children of Israel heard of it, the whole congregation of the children of Israel gathered themselves together at Shiloh to go up to war against them, right? So they're like, you know what? These guys is going the hell off, man. So when they heard it, all the rest of the tribes on the west side of Jordan gathered together. The heads of the tribes gathered together at Shiloh to now determine to go to war with the other brethren, right? Verse 13, and the children of Israel sent unto the children of Reuben and to the children of Gad and to the half tribe of Manasseh into the land of Gilead, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, and with him 10 princes, of each chief house a prince throughout all the tribes of Israel. And each one was an head of the house of their fathers among the thousands of Israel. So they send Phinehas, right? That valiant, full of zeal, the one who threw the javelin through the brother that had a Midianitish woman come in the midst of us. He's that one. And then he chose 10 other leaders out of the rest of the tribes that were on this side of Jordan, out of their families, to now go and meet with them diplomatically, to go and do what? Find out what the hell is going on here.
I see, like in Mexico, they have these altars there, you know? They go in and look and see these altars that they build up, these big things, you know?
Yes.
People have to like walk up these high steps to get to the top.
Right.
It's like, what is this stuff? And they were doing like sacrifices, they sacrifice people up there.
Right. That's why we was going into the class during the new moon, as far as for, you know, the sun, moon, and stars and different things that the Most High has given us to serve us in the earth. Sometimes we go to hell off and we go and worship the thing that the Most High has given us as a service to us. So that's what Issachar and some of the other tribes did, not just Issachar, Naphtali, a lot of the other northern tribes was going off by doing that. Right. So that's kind of what he's getting into when you talk about the pyramids and all these sacrifices and things. And they started worshiping the clouds and the sun and all that because they felt that it was that was providing them sustenance for their crops. So they start doing rain dances. They're going to go and pray, worship rain, because when the water comes down, it waters my crop. No, it's the Most High that you're supposed to worship. But they went off with that. Right. They didn't fully understand it. So now, going back, it says, oh. What are you looking for? Where the altar would be? Right here somewhere in the Jordan River.
I'm looking for you.
Huh? Oh, I'm not, I took the thing off on the side. Why, you want to see me, brother?
Oh, you on the side.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now reading on, verse 15, it says, and they came unto the children of Reuben, unto the children of Gad, unto the half tribe of Manasseh, unto the land of Gilead, and they spake with them, saying, thus saith the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that ye have committed against the power of Israel, to turn away this day from following the Lord, in that ye have builded you an altar, that ye might rebel this day against the Lord. So we got word that the rest of the congregation is saying that you've committed an offense unto the Most High power by building this altar, right? Verse 17, is the iniquity of Peor too little for us, from which we are not cleansed until this day, although there was a plague in the congregation of the Lord. So now he's going back to just a little while ago when we was dealing with the worshiping of Peor. And why did we worship Peor? Let's go find out. Numbers, the 25th chapter. Numbers, the 25th chapter, and the first verse. Yahweh Kanan, if you can read that, Baba Kushah. Numbers 25 and 1.
Numbers 25 and 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Right. So here it is. When they dwelt in this land, Israel, the men went off by going and dealing with the daughters of Moab. Today we would know them as to being what? Who are the Moabites? The Chinese, so-called Chinese, based on the history and the geography found in the Bible, right? So it says that they went and committed whoredom with them. So now when you go and commit whoredom with them, or you are now with these different women of other nations, what usually happens? You start worshiping their gods. Well, all of a sudden you start worshiping their gods, because what happens is you start catering to your women, right? You're starting to want to please your women. And they now, coming from their own custom and culture, they're going to go to their husbands, their men, and influence them to now establish and set up these different types of groves and altars and things full of worship, right? Israel now is going to start to dilute or pollute their own custom and go and start worshiping something different, right? Read on.
Verse 2, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods.
And
the people did eat and bow down to their God.
So they now were sent to the children of Israel, caused the men to go commit whoredom with them, and then convinced them to now set up their false idols for them to worship. And they did go and sacrifice to them and eat their sacrifices in honor of these gods. Read.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Right. So it says, and Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled. He was hot. He was upset now that Israel went and did this. Deuteronomy 7:3. Con. Well, we weren't supposed to give our sons to their daughters, nor our daughters to their sons. Right? That specifically says the Hamitic nations, the 5 families of the Hamitic nations, but in general, we weren't supposed to do it for anyone. Right? It says those because we were going into their lands at that time. Right? But here in Numbers, this is when we was dwelling in their area by Moab. Right? Read on.
Verse 4. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
Come on.
Wow. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
Right. So they went and took their heads, man. Took their heads off their bodies and hung them up as a sign to the sun so that everybody can see. Because they did what? They went and worshiped other gods, specifically here, Baal Peor. So this is what Joshua sent Phinehas and them to go and do inquisition. They thinking that these guys is now still dealing with this or something of the like, because they're referencing this point here. So now go back to Joshua chapter 22. Joshua 22 and verse 17 again, it says, is the iniquity of Peor too little for us? Was that a light thing? Right? It says, from which we are not cleansed unto this day, although there was a plague in the congregation of the Lord. Like some of our people, we killed off a lot of our people because they follow that manners. We're not all the way done. You still got some of our people that's still following or thinking this in their mind. And y'all want to come and set up this altar? Verse 18. But that ye must turn away this day from following the Lord, and it will be, seeing ye rebel today against the Lord, that tomorrow he will be wroth with the whole congregation of Israel. So now, based on what you guys is doing, you know how the Most High roll. How does the Most High roll when you see Israel going off? What does he do? Punish who? He's punished all of us. We all get jacked up behind this because of what you're doing, right? The Lord gonna be wroth and not come after y'all, 2.5 tribes, but he's gonna come after all of us. Verse 19. It says, notwithstanding, if the land of your possession be unclean, then pass ye over unto the land of the possession of the Lord, wherein the Lord's tabernacle dwelleth, and take possession among us. But rebel not against the Lord, nor rebel against us in building you an altar beside the altar of the Lord our God. So they're like, look, if you're going to go set up this other thing over here in your land, now it's all polluted because you was going to go and worship some false god. Leave that land. Come back on this side of Jordan, where the tabernacle is in Shiloh. Worship the Lord there. Fine, we'll get you a whole new lot. But don't do this, man. Don't go out there and set this altar up to come and put now us in peril, right? Verse 20. Did not Achan the son of Zerah commit a trespass in the accursed thing, and wrath fell on all the congregation of Israel? And that man perished not alone in his iniquity? So that's what you read in Joshua the 7th chapter. When they went out from Jericho and they took the spoils, but the Lord said, don't take of any of the accursed thing. And they went and took the gold that was supposed to go to the Most High in the sanctuary. And he took a garment that he wasn't supposed to take. And what happened? All Israel began to get jacked up until Joshua had to go do inquisition by lot and then find him out. That man wasn't the only one that died. Who else died? His family died. And then the rest of the tribes, before we found out what was going on, men died in the beginning behind this. We was going to war. We was getting jacked up. Joshua had to retreat and then go find out what was going on and pray to the Most High to get knowledge. And that's what happened, right? So we don't want to have this happen again. We are brother's keeper. So I can't have you go off because it's going to affect me, right? I'm not good if you ain't good. That's how the Lord is rolling here. That's how these men was rolling. So verse 21, it says, then the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh answered and said unto the heads of the thousands of Israel. So after Phinehas and the 10 men, the 10 rulers came, they heard what they said and it was like, all right, these guys is coming with this accusation that we about to go to hell off and they want us to leave our land and come over here, but they didn't understand why we was doing this. So it says in verse 22, it says, the Lord power of gods, he knoweth, and Israel he shall know, if it be in rebellion or if in transgression against the Lord, save us not this day. So it's like, listen, the Most High, power of all powers, Lord of all lords, he knows what our intentions were. And if it wasn't for this, and if it was in transgression, then don't save us this day. Take us, right? If it was for what y'all talking about. Verse 23, it says that we have built us an altar to turn from following the Lord, or if it to offer thereon burnt offering or a meat offering, or if it to offer peace offerings thereon, let the Lord himself require it. So, you know what? The Most High got this. If it is what y'all say it is, let the Most High take us right now. That's what they standing on. They standing on their good honor. They're standing on their intentions. It was not for that. But if it was, let the Lord strike me down right now. Did you hear people say that? Like, listen, if I don't be back, let the Lord strike me right now. If I ain't telling you the truth, let the Lord take me right now. Right? That's what they saying right here. Right? It says in verse 24, it says, and if we have not rather done it for fear of this thing, saying, in time to come, your children might speak unto our children, saying, what have ye to do with the Lord power of Israel? Which would cause contention, right? It would cause conflict. So they're saying, listen, if that's all these accusations that you're bringing up, if this is the cause, then the Most High, the judge, he's going to take us out. But verse 25, for the Lord have made Jordan a border between us and you. Ye children of Reuben and the children of Gad, ye have no part in the Lord. So shall your children make our children cease from fearing the Lord, because they're gonna look and be influenced. We got this border. They're gonna look over there like, yo, look what they're doing. They ain't following the Most High, but they got all that land and they got all this. And then now cause our children to now leave the Most High and then go follow after their practices, because now there's this divide. See, we the same people, but now because if you dwell on that land, you ain't got to keep the Most High's law. The tabernacle or the altar is here in Shiloh, but they ain't over here in Shiloh. They over there doing their own thing. It's going to cause confusion, right? 26. Therefore we said, let us now prepare to build us an altar, not for burnt offering, nor for sacrifice, right? So we don't want to muddy the waters. I know that that's what y'all thinking, right? But we built this altar not to offer up anything on. We ain't going to burn no sacrifice on it. We ain't going to do nothing with this altar. Verse 27, but that it may be a witness between us and you and our generations after us, that we might do the service of the Lord before him with our burnt offerings and with our sacrifices and with our peace offerings. that your children may not say to our children in time to come, ye have no part in the Lord. So they said, we just did this as a show, a great altar, so that they wouldn't think that we different from y'all, right? But we set this up so that we can see the commonality, that it's like going somewhere and you see somebody with a garment on. I'm like, yo, you Israel? Yeah, you Israel. But just because they live in New Hampshire, or just because they live in Ireland, don't mean that we now so far disconnected. So now they got a garment on with fringes. You see them with the mitre on. You see them now going out telling them like, oh, yo, we the same people. Y'all keep the Sabbath. Oh, so now we're not divided up by land masses. That's what they're now getting into. Verse 28 again. Therefore said we that it shall be when they should say to us, say to us, our generation in time to come, that we may say again, behold the pattern of the altar of the Lord, which our fathers made, not for burnt offerings, nor for sacrifices, but it is a witness between us and you. God forbid that we should rebel against the Lord and turn this day from following the Lord, to build an altar for burnt offerings, for meat offerings, or for sacrifices, beside the altar of the Lord that is before his tabernacle. The Lord forbid that we go and create another whole tabernacle or a whole nother altar outside of what's already in Shiloh. We put this here as a witness that we the same, as a witness that our generations will know that we are supposed to always go and serve the Most High. So it's just like a sign, right? And not an actual altar to do sacrifices, right? So now they're getting a little bit more clarity on what these brothers is doing, all right? First,
so I guess they kind of left it there, right?
Huh?
They left that altar there?
Right, they built it to be left there.
Yeah. Right,
but it wasn't to offer anything on it. They built a great big altar and put it right there at the dividing, which is the Jordan, so that at that passage, right? Because they said it was built or left at the passage of Israel. So now on the way to going to the other side of Jordan, there's a highway. And on that highway, there was that altar that was set there. Right? Verse 30. And when Phinehas, the priest, and the princes of the congregation, and the heads of the thousands of Israel, which were with him, heard the words of the children of Reuben, and the children of Gad, and the children of Manasseh spake, it pleased them. So they was like, okay. All right, y'all ain't going to hell off. We thought that y'all was about to start worshiping other gods again.
But they killed the guys who did that.
Say again?
They killed the men who were worshiping the other gods.
Okay, but that don't stop people from continuing. Listen, you know how long Israel kept worshiping other gods? It ain't like it just stopped.
they killed the heads on them.
Huh?
And the rest of them, they fall in line to the Most High.
Right.
But left it there.
Right. What are you talking about when they left what there?
No, they left the altar there.
You're speaking on two different things, though, right?
No, same thing here. It says
they didn't kill nobody. They didn't kill nobody right here.
No, they just left it there.
They left the altar there.
Yeah, they left the altar there. Yeah.
Right. But they didn't kill nobody. Remember, they wanted to go to war. They thought that they was going off by building this altar to go and worship another god. But come to find out, they're telling them that they just put this altar here as a monument to show that we are the same. So as we are now coming through that passage between the Jordan River, when you come from this side to that side, people will know and say, oh, this is still the children of Israel. That altar is almost reminiscent. It's a monument set up to the altar that's like the one that's in Shiloh. That's what it was. It was just a monument, a great big altar left as a monument on the Jordan borderline. And now when the brothers heard this, they was, this is cool. There's no wrong here. Y'all not offering up no sacrifices on it. Y'all not doing nothing else. Okay, this is cool. I get it. Y'all just paying homage to our unity. So there'd be no confusion. That's why they said they wasn't offering up nothing on that altar. There was never going to be no coal set up, no nothing put on there. It's just the altar that was just left there.
There's a map there over there on this side.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Going back to verse 11, it says, and the children of Israel heard say, behold, the children of Reuben, the children of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh have built an altar over against the land of Canaan in the borders of Jordan at the passage of the children of Israel. So in the Jordan borderline, going from one side to the next, there's a passageway. You got to cross over the Jordan River. So there's a passage. And on that area where the passage is where that altar was built. They now saw it and they said, oh, this guy's going on. And that's what we're talking about. So now back to verse 31. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, said unto the children of Reuben, and to the children of Gad, and to the children of Manasseh, this day we perceive that the Lord is among us, because ye have not committed this trespass against the Lord. Now ye have delivered the children of Israel out of the hand of the Lord. So we have all concluded that y'all did not create a trespass against the Most High, which have caused iniquity to come upon us and to be judged. We are right now, right? Verse 32. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, and the princes returned from the children of Reuben and from the children of Gad out of the land of Gilead unto the land of Canaan to the children of Israel and brought them word again, right? So now they came back to come and tell everybody else who was left at Shiloh to say, brothers, put down your weapons of war. We good. What happened? Tell us what happened. So now they gave them the report of what they did and why they did it, right? So now everything was now brushed over. Verse 33, and the thing pleased the children of Israel, and the children of Israel blessed Yahweh and did not intend to go up against them in battle to destroy the land wherein the children of Reuben and Gad dwelt. So they was going to go up there to kill them, destroy the land, because what now would have been polluted with idolatrous altars and things set up, right? So now they ain't got to do that.
That's what I thought. That's what I kind of thought. They were gonna go against him, and then they start to talk.
Right.
So I was gonna find out what it was.
Right. That's what initially they was going to go up, but before they went up, right? Go to Deuteronomy 19. Before they just went up and rashly just went and go and start killing and smiting, they had to do this. Deuteronomy 19. And 15. So Deuteronomy 19 and 15 says, one witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses or at the mouth of three witnesses shall the matter be established. So you now have to have corroborating evidence, right? So now with the corroborating evidence, this is also what you must do. Verse 18, it says, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and have testified falsely against his brother, right? So now, if you now go out there and you find out that what was now alleged, you now realize that it was not so, right? Or the matter wasn't fully examined. So now when Phinehas and these 10 men went to go and talk to these brothers, they found out that that's not what the intentions was. They was like, oh, okay, cool. So now we don't have to go out there and kill these men for transgression the Most High, right? So that's what now has to happen. You got to do a diligent search. You got to do a diligent inquisition. You got to go and find out what's going on. You know, Ecclesiasticus?
No, this is the history of Susan.
That's one as well, right?
Diligently.
Yeah. So this is what now all of us also have to use that as an example to do as well. We just can't go off of hearsay. You got to go and do an inquisition. You got to ask questions, confirm what it is that you heard. And then after that, then you act upon it according to wisdom. All right. So let's go back So now 22 and 34. It says, and the children of Reuben and the children of Gad called the altar Ed, for it shall be a witness between us that the Lord is power, right? So that's what it was. It was a referencing because they wanted it to be a witness between them and the Most High, even on the east side of Jordan, that they was not separate or divided from the rest of their brethren. All right. So this was not, too detailed, too deep as far as for 2 chapters, but just some good history as we get into the evolution and the maturation of our people now getting into the land. And then going to start getting into more endeavors and more plights and more tribulations because of, we're still growing and experiencing and learning the Most High to the best of our abilities with a lot of shortfalls. All right. So that concludes the 22nd chapter, 21st and the 22nd chapters. Next week on the 20th we'll read the last chapter of Acts, and then we'll get into the book of Romans, first chapter. All right. So it's Acts 28, Romans chapter 1. So again, keep in mind, remember, happy Sabbath, but also happy new moon. So again, somewhat of a nice day. So, but still, enjoy the day. You can go and cook, not like most of the Sabbaths that we have throughout the year. So enjoy it and use it wisely to the pleasure of keeping the feast of the new moon. All right. So with that, what you going up to Hebrew?
Yeah. There's a witness.
Right.
Right.
It says here. Yeah. Iwad. I'd witness, testimony, witness of the people.
We're gonna have a war,
Good. All right. So with that, we're going to close out today's Sabbath service. Most High's will, everyone was able to get the precepts. Also the understanding. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh Shah. Also send the holy angels to give, to minister unto us, to give us spirit of wisdom, spirit of determination, healing for some of us who are going through illnesses and ailments. The Most High deals with us to make sure that we get healthy and get back on our feet, and prepare us for the times upcoming. So with that, I'll say Ashar Shabbath wa Ashar Chadash, which is in Hebrew, happy Sabbath and happy new moon. All right. Stay tuned for the closing prayers. Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Par Yahagapin, Thawada Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ath, Yasha Allah. Imadu upon you, Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Babakushah, Shemai, Lanawa, Aitha, Yum Yun, Aitha, Shalat, Mayaka'ala, Waha'alahayim, Tazodakim, La, Shema'ayim, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Wahakazayak, Banya, Yasha'ala, Washalat, Lanawa, Rabiam, Kakama, Rabiam, Da'ai, Rabiam, Bayana, Rabiam, Sabalanwa, Rabiam, Amawan, Rabiam, Aqua, Rabiam, Ahabiam, Rabiam, Haganah, Rakhanaya, Wasalat, Kal, Kata Ayamnawa, Laha'akim, Wa'akiwa, Wayasha'ala, Thamyad, Wa'iwalam, Bahasham, Yahushai, Thawada, Amen. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous powers or angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection. And forgive all our sins for the brothers and sisters in Israel, always and forever. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Four Corners prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Barak Nawa, Wayasha'ala, Wabatya Saparim, Shema, Yashirella, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Akkad. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel in the house of books or schools. And Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power. Again, Ashar Shabbat, Wa Ashar Chadash. Happy Sabbath, happy new moon. Stay safe, Israel. Stay blessed. Most High's will. We'll talk during the upcoming classes during the week. Shalom.